Tonight, I'm going to be doing our professional development, and it's going to be on leaving a legacy of success, redefining prosperity through generosity. In our time together today, we're going to be redefining success. We're going to talk a little bit about the benefits of generosity. We're going to talk about the 5 laws of success and do some interactive activities together. We're going to talk about how to make your life count. Then we'll go and have some question and answers, and then we'll conclude our time together tonight. So let's go ahead and jump right in. So the first question I have for you is, what is true success? I know that when I was younger, in my 20s, I thought of success as being wealth, fame, fortune. And as I got older, that definition was challenged. And now I realize that true success is based on how many people are better off because you lived. True success is measured by how many lives are positively impacted by what you do. So I'm trying to, one second here, have everybody's names is in the center of my presentation here. I'm trying to move them over, turn the grid over that way. Okay, so why does generosity matter? The main reason that generosity matters is that studies have shown that people who are generous tend to live a longer life, have better health, and have increased happiness. So in other words, you have what I call your 3 T's. Your 3 T's are your time, treasure, and talent. And those are to be used in service to others. When you do that, that leads to a life of generosity, which ultimately will lead to a pathway of health, success, and happiness. One of the key books that really helped me to solidify why generosity was so important is a book called The Go-Giver. And so The Go-Giver is a great book that's utilized by many corporations, many CEOs utilize the 5 laws that are discovered in this book. So The Go-Giver, and I highly recommend that you get this book, is basically a business parable that's written by Bob Burg and David Mann. And it tells the story of a young, ambitious sales professional who's struggling to meet his quarterly targets despite working tirelessly for the quest for success. Joe meets a legendary consultant named Pindar, who introduces him to a series of go-givers. These are people who have achieved extraordinary success by putting others' interests first and by focusing on adding values to others. Throughout the book, you'll learn about the 5 laws of stratospheric success. So those laws are as follows. The first is the law of value. The next is the law of compensation. The third is the law of influence. The next is the law of authenticity. And the 5th one is called the law of receptivity. We'll go over laws and I'll give you examples of each, and then we'll start to do some interactive activities that demonstrate these 5 laws. So the first law that's mentioned is the law of value. The law of value states this, that your true worth is determined by how much more you give in value than you take in payment. If you want more money to come into your life, then you need to focus on helping more people. You need to give more value than is expected, and you need to give more than anyone else is giving. Not only if you do that, not only will you be a blessing to others, but you will be blessed as well. Adding value to others' lives can take many forms, from small daily actions to larger, more impactful contributions. So do you guys have any ways that you can think of that you can add value to others' lives? So if you could think of anything, put it in the chat box. So what are some ways that you could add value to other people's lives? Anyone have any? Oh, speaking positively. Oh, that's a great one. Speaking positively into their lives. I like to kind of break down giving value to others. Number one, if you think about your personal interaction, just like Dr. James said. So with your personal interaction, you could add value to people's lives by actively listening to them, by doing random acts of kindness, by giving supportive and encouraging words to other people. You could also add value by sharing your knowledge and your skills. So you could do that by being a mentor, mentoring. Yes, Teresa, excellent. Great minds think alike. By teaching and tutoring, by providing resources, like the Go Giver is a great resource that I'm recommending, giving articles and tools that you found valuable. You can share that with others. You could add value through your community involvement, through your volunteering, and through organizing events. You could add value through your professional contributions. Those of you who are in the world of project management, you guys add so much value to helping organizations to achieve their goals and objectives for their projects that they're working on. You could offer your expertise. You can look for opportunities that you can help other people. You can work on financial contributions, could add value. You could give donations. You could give your time, talent, and treasure. Emotional and mental support. You can offer encouraging words, just like James said, and encouraging mental health support. You could offer spiritual value and inspirational support. And you could also add value by giving practical help. This is just by doing things like you're helping with daily tasks or by offering expertise in crisis situations. So incorporating all of these types of actions into your life can create a ripple effect that will spread positivity and add values of others in small and significant ways. The next law that is mentioned in the book is called the law of compensation. Your income is determined by how many people you serve and how well you serve them. I want you to keep in mind that compensation is not just monetary. Compensation also is happiness, it's satisfaction, it's joy, it's peace. Because the more lives you touch, trust me when I tell you this, over the years I have found that the more lives that I touch, really that also equates to the more money that I make. And there's several ways that we could do this. So one of the ways that you can serve other people is through a tool that I call Spark Fire ASAP. So I'm going to stop sharing this, if I can here. And let me share my screen again. Let me stop sharing here. And let me bring up another. So here is called our Spark Fire ASAP. So this is a great tool that you could utilize to help you to figure out how it is that you can serve other people. So I'm going to share my screen. And we could do another webinar on this, but this is a tool that I like to use. I actually got this from YSA, Youth Service America, and I thought this was an excellent tool in order to help people to decide what is the best way that you can serve. So they've developed this technique called Spark plus Fire plus ASAP, and that gives you a pathway on how you can serve other people. So number one, you start with your spark. A spark is just a fancy way of saying causes that mean something to you. So your cause could be education. It could be economic opportunity. It could be the environment. It could be gender equality. It could be health. So it could be helping with various diseases. It could be medical research. It could be healthier babies. It could be access to school, education. So if you could take a minute or two and write in the chat box What is your spark? What is the cause that means something to you? Is it animals? What is the cause that means something to you? So that's the first step, is finding a cause that means something to you. One of mine is economic opportunity, which is why I started CAVALRY, because I want to help other people to get the job skills that they need to be able to establish a financial self-sufficiency. Oh, your children and your family, absolutely. And there's so many other families out there that don't have the nuclear family. Education is Juanita's cause. So those are your causes. So that is what you kind of wakes you up and gives you purpose. Economic opportunity, excellent. Then after you identify your cause, the next thing is to identify your fire. So your fire is activities that you like to do, talents that you have, or interests that you have. So what is a passion that you have? So like I love dancing, some people love computer, some people like speech, some people like comedy, some people like building. So what are some things like some people like gaming? Oh, cooking, nature, art. Yes. So all of those are what's called your fire. So what we're going to do is we're going to put your cause together with your fire, and then you're going to decide on your action strategy. There's 4 action strategies that you can adopt. So the first one is awareness. This is the strategy where you use your gifts and talents and you educate and you share information and you teach others to positively change their behaviors. So that's an awareness strategy. You could also do a service strategy. This is where you volunteer. You use your creativity, your time, and your talent to directly meet a need in the community. Then the A in ASAP is for advocacy. So this is where you speak out, you join others, you persuade policymakers to change policies and laws to impact the cause that you care about. And then there is philanthropy. That's where you actually give, where you collect and donate financial and in-kind support. So which of these strategies speaks best to you? Would you, if you were going to do some type of service, would you rather do some type of awareness campaign? Would you rather do some type of service type of activity? Would you rather do some type of advocacy? Or would you rather do philanthropy? So Brian is action, Teresa's service, Dr. James's service. Yes, so all of those are ways that you can serve. Now, what do you do? So the next thing that you're going to do is you put down your cause, whatever that is. Then you put down your passion. Then you put down your action strategy. And then you think and you brainstorm how your community can help you with that. You put all of that together, and that is a way that you can serve. So for instance, bigger here. So let's say for the community need, the cause is recycling. So this person cares about the environment. Their personal asset is they have a passion for workshop class. Their community asset is their community can help them by letting them use the tools in the workshop class and by donating the wood. Their action is going to be doing direct service. So when you put all that together, you can create recycling bins that have slots for the paper. So this person can use their workshopping skills to put together a service project that helps with the environment. So let's go back. So we have, so for instance, my cause is economic opportunity. My passion is definitely direct service. And my passion is education and training. My strategy is service, and my community can help by giving donations. So what I did for my service back to the community is I founded a nonprofit organization, of course, which is CAVALRY, and we help other people to achieve financial self-sufficiency. So you can see how you can put all of that together to create how you are best able to serve. Does anyone have any questions so far? Thank you for participating with me. Okay. The next law is called the law of influence. So your influence is determined by how abundantly you put others in instead of your own. So think about how you can focus on helping your friends, your family, if you have customers, if you're on a project, your project stakeholders, how do you help them to get what they really need? Not just what you're selling or not just what you want for your own best interest. Have you ever gone to a store and you want an item and then the salesperson tries to sell you the most expensive item, not necessarily the item that works best for you? That is not doing the law of influence. The law of influence is where you put others' interests first without expecting anything in return. When you do that, people are automatically drawn to you and they want you to succeed. So I want to share a story of how I put the law of influence and the law of compensation together. So I volunteer at a school called River City. River City is a school for special needs kids, and they do not have any funds for training for their students. So I volunteer my time, our curriculum, everything to help these young people to become financially self-sufficient. When I started going there, I did not expect anything in return. My goal was just to serve these awesome young people and to help them to be able to utilize project management skills to help them to better their lives. Now, the payback that I received for doing that, even though I wasn't expecting anything in return, was tremendous. Remember when I said, when you think about compensation, it's not necessarily monetary. So some of the non-monetary benefits that I got, the payback was the joy of seeing the kids as they accomplish their goals. The principal contacted me and he was so impressed with how well the kids were doing in their program. And it was because they had someone that actually believed in them and encouraged them. They led projects better than people without disabilities. They really excelled in this program. And being able to see them excel was one of the great paybacks of being in service. Another great payback was seeing that every single one of those students that were part of our project management program, they either got summer jobs and or all of them got admitted to either our community college or to special programs for traditional colleges. And that was awesome as well. But it didn't stop there. One of the fathers that I helped his son was so impressed with how well his son did. And he was asking how I was funding coming out to the school. And I was telling him, no, I'm just donating my time, our services, our curriculum, so that we could bless the kids that go to River City. And so he came into some money and he actually became part of our board. And he now gives large monthly donations to CAVALRY. So not only did I have non-monetary compensation for serving, but now Calvary is being blessed by his contributions, all because I served without any expectation in return. And because he was so thankful for how well his son did in our program and the progress that he made, he decided to help us financially. And that is the case when you exert the law of influence. The next law is the law of authenticity. This is where you are the most valuable gift that you bring to any service project that you do. You are uniquely designed to leave your legacy, and you have specific gifts and talents that only you can utilize. People buy you first, and then they buy your company, your product, or your service second. Don't try to mimic anyone else. Don't try to mimic your mentor, anybody that you feel that you hold in highest esteem. You can learn from them, but you need to be your true self, and you need to share that with the world. One of the key mistakes that I made as I was growing up is that I was always trying to work on my weaknesses. I'm here to tell you that in order to really be successful and lead a life and leave a life of legacy and success, you need to focus on your strengths. When you focus more on your strengths, then that's when you become stronger and the more authentic you. Now, there's lots of tools that can help you find your authentic self. One of my favorites is the SHAPE model. So when I was growing up at our church here in San Antonio, we read this book. And for those of you who are in the Christian faith, we use something called the SHAPE model. So the SHAPE model says that that God shapes your life for you to make a difference. So with the SHAPE model, what it says is that as a Christian, you get spiritual gifts, that God gives you a heart, or other words, your cause. He gives you abilities, talents. He gives you personality, whether it's an introverted personality or an extroverted personality or somewhere in between. It doesn't matter, but God created you that way. And then God put experiences in your life, both good and bad, and that shapes how you are to serve and to make an impact for the kingdom. So, for instance, when I was growing up, and some of you have probably heard my story, I grew up in the projects in the DC area. What some of you may not know is that my stepfather was a heroin addict, and he would spend all of our money. And so when you'd come home, instead of money being spent on the water or groceries, I never knew if our water would be shut off, if our lights would be cut off because of his addiction. And as a result of that, I was praying for a way out. I could not wait to get out of the projects to do something different with my life. And the answer to that prayer came when my high school counselor introduced me to an apprenticeship program. That apprenticeship program in accounting helped to change the trajectory of my life. That apprenticeship helped me to ultimately get my CPA. It helped me to end the cycle of poverty for my family. And it gave me the passion and the purpose to want to start Calvary, an organization that can help other people to get out of poverty. So you see, those experiences help to shape how I serve. Another story that I like to tell you is that when you are your authentic self, you need to pursue things that are passionate for you. So when I went to college, I wanted to be a school teacher. and everyone talked me out of being a school teacher. They said that you don't make any money as a school teacher. You'd be better off either in IT or accounting. So I listened to everyone. I became an accountant. So in essence, I took a 25-year detour in the accounting field. And I was successful in accounting. I moved up the corporate ladder. I did well, but really I did not find joy in that career field. So that experience taught me the importance of following your true passion. So after 25 years in accounting, I decided to go back to school. I got my PhD and I became the teacher I was born to be. While I was a good accountant, I feel like I am a great professor. In fact, because I love being a professor so much, I was awarded Texas Accounting Educator of the Year. This also highlighted my spiritual gifts of teaching and helps and education. This also gave me the passion for others who didn't follow their own purpose and pathway. There's so many people out there who pursue dreams of what their parents wanted them to do, but not really what they want to do. So because of my experiences of taking that 25-year detour, what I found over my years is that God never wastes a pain. And so as a result of that, I'm able to help other people. Say it doesn't matter how old you are, you can always pursue your passion. But it also helps me to work with people who are a lot younger than me, and I can encourage them to follow their passion right away. So those are two ways of how I was shaped. So there is a book called Shape, and there is an assessment that you can do that you take and you answer lots of questions, and then it gives you a report back. So it tells you after you answer all of the questions and you get your assessment back, it gives you your spiritual gifts, it gives you what you have a heart for, it lists your abilities, your personality type, and then you start to see how all of your experiences have played into how God has shaped you to make a difference. So if any of you who are interested in doing a future webinar on the SHAPE model, I'll be glad to facilitate that. Another tool that you could utilize is the Clifton Strengths Assessment. Have any of you ever done your Clifton Strengths analysis? So that's another tool that we could do, that we could have. So with the Clifton Strengths Analysis, the purpose of the Clifton Strengths Analysis is that it helps you to identify your natural talents. Remember that God has given you natural abilities. And so this is a tool that helps you to determine what your natural abilities are. Again, it's an assessment that you take, you answer lots of questions, and it gives you a report back on your natural talents. I'm going to share my Clifton report with you so that you can see what this looks like. My daughter Shannon is a Clifton Strengths coach, and so if you guys are interested, maybe we could talk her into doing one of these as a professional development as well. So with your strengths, once you find out what your strengths are, again, remember that in order to really leave a great legacy, you need to focus on your strengths. Now, you can always work on your weaknesses, but you need to focus on your strengths. And once you know what those strengths are, then you can really focus and build that. So once you figure out what your strengths are, it's good for your personal development. It can help you to focus on areas where you have the greatest potential. It helps you with your career guidance. Once you know what your strengths are, then you can determine which career path to go down. For those of you who are going to be doing project management, knowing your strengths and the strengths of the people on your project will help you have outstanding projects because you can assign people based off of their strengths. It also enhances your performance. Your self-awareness. If you know your strengths, it'll help you with your academic success, with your career planning, personal development, leadership, and extracurricular activities. It can help you in networking situations and in your relationships with your family. I just remember, Teresa, you mentioned that your family is very important to you. Well, if you know what your kids and your spouse's strengths are, it helps you to serve them better as well, too. Also, if you know what your strengths are, you can better manage your time because you can focus on your strengths and how your strengths relates to the best time management methodology that works best for you. So when you do the Clifton Strengths, what you do is you take an assessment, then you can reflect and analyze on your results. Then from there, you can create and develop a plan that will apply your strengths to your job, your academics, your extracurricular activities. You could get feedback. You can discuss with your mentors, your professors, your peers, and then you can monitor your success on how you're utilizing your strengths to make a difference. So let me start to share again. Let me share my Clifton Strengths analysis with you. Okay, so when you take the strength files, and I'll only show you the first one. And so what it tells you is your top 5 strengths. So when I took this analysis, my top 5 strengths were developer, positivity, achiever, belief, and connectiveness. So just to kind of show you the report that you get back. So as a developer, so people with this strength are especially talented in the developer theme. They recognize and cultivate the potential in others. They spot the signs of each small improvement and derive satisfaction from these improvements. So what makes you stand out as a developer? It says chances are good that you like to lift the spirits of other people around you. You know what to do and to say so that individuals feel useful, valued, appreciated, and important. Because of your strengths, you really want the young people around you with whom you interact personally or professionally to enjoy your company. Your gift of helping, teaching, and playing with children sets you apart from many adults. And if anybody knows me, I'm a big kid at heart, absolutely love children to death. When I saw that in this my analysis, I'm like, wow, that really pinpointed me. You're driven by your talents. You automatically welcome different types of people into your life. You're likely to give them your approval. You probably comment favorably about their individual talents, efforts, skills, knowledge, contributions, or accomplishments. By nature, you inspire your teammates with words that bolster their confidence. You repeatedly remind them that they have abilities needed to attain their goals. Instinctively, you're likely to inconvenience yourself to help someone else. And if anybody knows me, that is very, very true. I will inconvenience myself to no end to make sure that other people are not inconvenienced. The person's appreciation, smile, or words of thanks usually make you feel so good about yourself and life in general. You tend to have so much more energy for your own jobs or studies after you have done a good job. And then it gives you some reflection questions. So when you read about yourself, which words or phrases stand out to you? Out of all the talents in this insight, what would you like others to see most in you? And then it goes over all of your strengths in this report. So again, this is such an awesome report to figure out your strengths. And then when you're leading a team, this is also a great icebreaker to do so that once you figure out what your team's top strengths are, again, you can start to assign people based off of their strengths. So in the chat box, would anybody be interested in doing this as another professional development activity, figuring out your strengths and then working and making that part of your career progression plan? Oh, that would be awesome. Okay, great. So we'll work on getting that as another webinar so that we can get you guys tested, and then we can start to go over your results. It really makes a big difference in how you lead your life of generosity when you're serving in the area of your strengths. So let's continue on. Okay. The last law that is talked about here is called the law of receptivity. And the key to effective giving is staying open to receiving. So the key to effective giving, as mentioned before, is being open to receiving. So just like you're here to serve other people, I firmly believe that God has placed people in your path to help you. He places mentors and people to use their gifts and talents to serve you. So you have to be open and willing to let people help you as well. And one of my strengths is helping other people. So it's a weakness of mine to accept help. But I have learned over the years that that is so important to me because God places people in my path that helps me. And when you accept that help and you stay open to receiving that help, then that also will help you to leave a better legacy of generosity, because then people can help you to be generous as well. So the last thing that I would like to talk to you about is making your dash count. So let me get back here. I think it's so sensitive, my little mouse here. So the day you were born and then the day that you pass away, the dash in the middle is what this poem is all about. So I'd like to read this to you and then give you a challenge. So this is called The Dash, and it's by Linda Ellis. And the poem reads as follows. I read of a man who stood to speak at a funeral of a friend. He referred to the dates on the tombstone from the beginning to the end. He noted that first came the date of birth and spoke of the following date with tears, but said what mattered most of all was the dash between those years. For the dash represents all the time they spent alive on earth, and now only those who love them know what that little line is worth. For it matters not how much we own, the cars, the house, the cash. What matters is how we lived and loved and how we spent our dash. So think about this long and hard. Are there things you'd like to change? For you never know how much time is left that still could be rearranged. To be less quick to anger and to show appreciation more and love the people in our lives like we've never loved before. If we treat each other with respect and more often wear a smile, remembering that this special dash might only last a little while. So when your eulogy is being read with your life's actions to rehash, would you be proud of it about how you lived your dash? So my challenge to you, everyone, is to make your dash count by living a life of generosity, significance, and purpose so you can live a life of joy and generosity. Note that when you live a life of generosity, you too will experience health, wealth, and happiness. So thank you. Are there any questions that I can address or answer? hopefully this was helpful for you guys to give you some thoughts about how to leave a legacy of service.